right now that many of you listening to me are just barely holding on. It's been a rough year. And I want to tell you, don't give up. Don't you dare give up. Hold on. This too shall pass. The tough stuff that you're going through, it didn't come to stay. It came to pass. It's not going to last. The problem's not going to last. So don't give up on God. Don't give up on your marriage. Don't give up on your church. Don't give up on your dream. Don't give up. Don't give up. Look up. Look up. Jesus Christ, the Son of God, who created you, who thought you up, who loves you, who has a purpose for your life, who died on the cross for you, who rose again, and is coming back one day, who's going to take you to heaven one day. Jesus Christ is the secret of strength to make it to the end of your marathon and end well.
When we go through a bad season of life, those circumstances that are oppressing us, they're very real. But there's another reality. And that reality that God is in the heavens and He is controlling and watching and all powerful over every circumstance in our life. We have a choice. Are we going to focus on our circumstances or are we going to focus on our God?
Things will start looking up when you start looking up. In other words, your circumstances will improve when you stop looking at them and start looking to God. Let me say it again. Things start looking up when I start looking up. You know, in the Bible, there's a phrase that's used over and over and over, and it is the phrase, lift up your eyes. Said many, many times in Scripture. It's just one way of saying, look up. Get your eyes off yourself and off your problems and off your circumstances and onto God. Refocus. Look at Him. Things will start looking up when I start looking up. When we look up and we see how big God is, it naturally shrinks the size of our problems. They just don't seem to be as big or as overwhelming when compared to the greatness of God. I don't know what burdens you're bearing. I don't know what grief or fear or anxiety or confusion you may be feeling right now, but I do know this. You need to look up instead of giving up. Don't give up, look up.
In your disillusioned heart, in your angst, you've got your eyes focused on the wrong place. Until your eyes are fixed on the Lord, you won't be able to endure the days that go from bad to worse. That's the key. Until your eyes are fixed on the Lord, you won't be able to endure the days that go from bad to worse. The Bible invites us over and over and over. Fix your eyes on me, God says. Fix your eyes on me. Fix your eyes on me. Hebrews calls us, let us fix our eyes on Jesus, the author and the perfecter of our faith. Are you in the middle of a discouraging season? Fix your eyes, friends. Fix your eyes back on Jesus. In a season of emotional pain, fix your eyes on Jesus. Do it once, do it twice, do it multiple times a day. Do it constantly throughout the day. Remember and rehearse who He is. Remember who He is. Remember what He's promised to do. So when your schedules press, when your prospects thin, when your hope burns low, when people disappoint you, when events turn against you, when dreams die, when the walls close in, when the prognosis is grim, when your heart breaks. Because when life is crushing, we don't have anywhere else to go. Because of who He is, He will always do what is best for you. Now, sometimes we have to talk ourselves off the ledge. We have to remind ourselves of important truths like God knows what He's doing. He doesn't make mistakes. His timing is always perfect. Whatever is happening, he is choosing to allow for this moment. It's challenging to trust and keep trusting, but we have to, because he is who he said he is, and he will do what he says he'll do.
This is the difference between ordinary people and great people. Great people never give up. They never give up. They keep on in the marathon of life, even when they're fatigued, even when they're frustrated, even when they feel like failures, and even when they're fearful. Don't you dare, friend, give in without a fight. Fight back. Fight back against your discouragement. Fight back against the devil. Fight back against those who want to discourage you. You got a great dream, and at some point, the devil whispers in your ear, who do you think you are? Attempting to do this. Wrong question. You should build your life not on what you think you can do, but what you think God can do. You let the size of your God determine the size of your goal. It's not about, do you think I would have tried to do all things I've tried to do in life because I was depending on me? Not a chance. In my flesh there dwelleth no good thing. I know that I can't do certain things. Jesus said, apart from me, you can do nothing. So that's pretty clear. Now, how do you react when your plans take longer than expected? When what you thought was going to be done real quickly, when you have a project and you go, man, this is taking me a long time to get through school. This is taking me a long time to get this thing built. This is taking me, what do? You give in to self-pity? Do you start complaining? You start blaming other people? Friends, if at first you don't succeed, you're normal. You're normal, okay? Nobody succeeds at first. The only way you actually succeed in life is by failing a bunch and learning what doesn't work. Failure is the stepping stone to success. Nobody ever succeeds without having failures. Here's the difference between successful and unsuccessful people. Successful people see failure as a temporary setback. Unsuccessful people see it as a mark on their character. Well, I'm a failure. No, nobody succeeds at everything. Nobody has an unbroken record of success. Refocus on God. Stop listening to the negativity and resist the discouragement. Don't you give into it. Resist it. Fight it. And who will give you the energy to fight it? Your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. So focus on Him, not on the problem.
When we're at our worst, God's at His best. The stage is now set for God to work His will, His way. You see, over and over again in the scriptures, over and over again, the stage is set for God to do His most amazing work when the situation looks the bleakest to us. When you and I are fresh out of options, when you and I are fresh at the end of our rope, when you and I are at the end of ourselves, and we're full of fear, and we're full of uncertainty, that's when God steps back, rolls up His sleeves, and starts to wow us again. The challenge for us is not giving up too soon.
You know, a lot of people start off great in life, but even before they get to the halfway point in their life, they've already really messed it up, and they've given up, which is worse than messing up. Here, let me say it again. Giving up is always worse than messing up. Everybody messes up. Why do people give up in the marathon of their lives? Because they got discouraged. Choose to change the channel of your mind. Don't keep replaying all those discouraging images in your mind. Instead, remember the Lord. Choose to think about God and what His faithfulness, His love, His mercy, His compassion. Choose to think about God, because your thoughts always determine your feelings. Do you want to stop being discouraged? Then stop thinking the way you've been thinking.
You know, when bad days come into our lives, we want God to do something big, something miraculous, don't we? You know, a miraculous cure to the illness, the immediate return of a prodigal, the overnight breaking of a destructive addiction, the erasure of the financial problems we're suffering. We want God to act dramatically and instantaneously. Sometimes he does that, but usually that's not how it works. It's not in the big things. Instead, it's in that still small voice that God comes to give us courage to face that illness, or the grace to accept that prodigal's departure from God, the ability, the wisdom to handle the financial difficulty we're experiencing. That's how God speaks most often. And when the waves are crashing and the winds are howling around us, it is important that we learn how to listen to God's real but sometimes small voice in the midst of our bad season of life. Bad days are inevitable, but they don't have to be paralyzing. Those who live a significant life learn to expect bad days and learn how to refresh themselves physically, emotionally, and spiritually. You know, I have found that going through a bad season of life is a lot like traveling through a dark tunnel. The bad news is, in that tunnel, it is dark. You can't see in front of you. You don't know if you'll ever make it out. But the good news is, once you've entered into that dark tunnel, with God's help, you're already on the way out.